Hello, everyone, and
Hello.
welcome to our new layout. We had to rearrange some things. I messed with some things to make my settings a little bit better, and this is kind of the result of all of that. Hopefully, everything will run a little bit smoother, uh, and so far it seems okay. So far, so good, you know? All
Oh,
right, so
I'm cut off.
do what?
I have to lean over to get in there.
Oh, well, adjust yourself.
Oh, it's the screen. Is it cut off for anyone else?
Oh, I don't know. So anyway, how do you guys like the new setup?
I like it better when my face isn't cut off.
I'm gonna lie and tell you that I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
Looks good.
But it looks nice.
awesome. Okay, so
Oh wow, fancy
if you're here for the
pants.
first time, welcome. If you're here for any number of times after that, welcome back. And we'll go around, say hello to everybody. Once again, starting with Heidi. Heidi, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome, and I figured out my screen, so I'm not cut off.
Awesome.
It was
I didn't
user error.
Yeah, user error. That's where the
Shocker.
the errors usually appears between the screen and the chair.
Yeah, but I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It looks like my stuff's working a lot better. I mean, it's still a little choppy, but it'll be a lot better when I get that new RAM. But anyway, so and below Heidi is Brad. Brad, how you doing? How is that new OS installing?
Doing good. Pretty good.
What OS
Doing
did
awesome.
you install?
Just quick. Linux Mint.
Oh, nice. All right. Other than that, how you doing?
I can't complain.
Oh, all right. Well,
Nice couple of days here.
hopefully I can change that. I'll make you guys complain. All right.
Shit, I'm gonna die next.
And next is Nathan. Nathan, how you doing?
What's up, man? I'm just ready to play some D&D. Let's do it.
Awesome. We're gonna play D&D very soon. Right after we introduce Sam. How's it going in the gray?
Not too shabby. It's pretty gray.
Pretty gray. All right. And Joe. Joe's back. He's now back, ready to play. And after we do the recap, we'll probably start a little bit with what he was doing and continue from there. He is also the official chat moderator. So you guys get active in chat. Also, whoops, lost somebody.
Uh-oh.
Who'd we lose?
We lost Sam.
Sam.
We lost Sam. Okay, well.
For the
Oh,
record, I'm doing fine, Dylan. Thanks for asking.
Well, we're gonna get to that. But we lost Sam. So I'm glad you're doing okay, Joe. I'm glad you're doing okay. Okay, so also don't forget to follow the stream. Still looking for those 50 followers so we can get all the nifty emotes and fancies and start using bits and all that kind of stuff. And if you also watch this on YouTube, don't forget to follow the YouTube channel as well. All of that is in the About Me below. And let's get started with the recap. So, last episode, it was just Ezekiel, Malachar, Linus, and Phelan. They had first what they did was they went and helped a dwarf find his way to his proper afterlife, and that involved them going to find the body. It was washed up on the side of what's now a river, an actual proper river, though still very dirty and silty. It is actual water now. They performed the ceremony. They even considered marrying a few of the dwarves, but they said that they figured that the burial ceremony was much more important. After that, they went around looking for a way to resurrect Sam. And after a few suggestions, they thought, well, hey, we can go ask one of these tracking guilds if they can find us a cleric or a druid to help us resurrect Sam. So they go to North Ladopolis. They hire out a expedition/tracking company, but most of their trackers were occupied, as was most of their clerics, but they did find what they would find out later would be a druid who works with this expedition company, and they are led out into the wastes by the brave and the fearless bard Jitters. And after a couple of days, and Jitters following this like magic map that like tracks him, he started like popping up all over the map. So he had to call in some actual tracking help, and another or two trackers came. One was a mole and one was a halfling. Sam saw some weird stuff happening around the halfling on the gray side of everything. On the prime material side, nobody could tell any difference. He just looked like a halfling. But these two then finally lead them, like with the good old tracking skills, to where the druid was, and they find out that he is seemingly trapped in this hedge of the strange purple flower, and it's all wrapped around him, not actually touching him. And when Phelan, because we gotta start using our character names, when Phelan did her arcana to figure out what was going on, not only do I think she rolled a natural 20, but she has a high arcana anyway, she figured out that he did all of that. He put himself into a stasis as a reaction because he apparently stepped on something. Maybe it was a trap. He didn't quite figure out that part, but it immediately sprung up around him, and as a reaction, he put himself in stasis. And something between this druid stasis and the way the purple flowers fuck with everything, he's in this weird going in and out of the gray, going out of the black and the prime material plane. And that was Sam that figured that out, since he could see him on the gray. He could see him phasing between these different planes of existence. So that was pretty much what this group did. And they're still all standing around figuring out, trying what to do with the druid. One quick aside before we get into the story. Sam,
Yes.
You, over the past couple of days, you started feeling like more connected. It's if it was possible, like you feel like more connected to the gray. So what I want you to do is, on a piece of paper or however you want to notate it, you essentially have 2 sorcery points, which you can use just like sorcerers use meta magic. So go to like the sorcerer page, figure out how they do it, and you have 2 of those sorcery points that you can use just like sorcerers can. And now roll me a religion or arcana, whichever you have is higher. I think you have religion that's higher.
Yeah, give me 1 second here while I annotate that. Okay, we are looking at a religion roll.
Yes.
5.
You're not sure, but this boost came after you sent the dwarf on his way, which you did figure out last game that he was going directly towards the Black Tower. You feel better, and now you have these sorcery points, which you can use towards some sort of meta magic, just like a sorcerer can, but you're not a sorcerer. So, anyway.
A lot of strange things have been happening. Doesn't surprise me.
Yes. Okay, so, now, Joe, are you ready?
Yeah, sort of.
That did not look like a ready face. All right, so
I'm not catching. I'm catching about every other word here. I'm lagging pretty hard.
okay.
I can hear you pretty good.
All right, so
I'll be right back, like 1 minute.
No, that's fine because I'm gonna deal with Joe for a little bit. So yeah.
Good.
Okay. Last game, they went off and did this whole thing with burying the dwarf, finding the druid. During the night of that long rest that they took before they went off on the adventure, you received a note in the night, or actually you hear like somebody throwing like rocks at the shutter of like your hotel window, and when you go to investigate, it's Anura. She's down there in the alleyway, and she kind of signals you down to. Man, my nose itches. Anyway, she signals you down to like meet with her.
Okay.
And so do you go and meet with her?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you get down there, she's basically standing in the street. It's like, about like 3, 4 in the morning. You don't know. It's definitely before definitely before sunrise, and the whole place is just quiet. It's like kind of a weird quiet. Like, it shouldn't be quite this quiet at 3 or 4 in the morning. But like, there's no one around. She's standing straight in the middle of the road. You walk up to her, and she says, "We've had a slight issue, and we need you to go investigate it quickly. But as soon as you're done, you need to rejoin with them, wherever they might be."
Them as in the party.
Yes. But she's like, "But I do need you to go
Okay.
and do this investigation real quick." She hands you like kind of a rolled up piece of parchment, and when you unfurl it, it's like a map. It shows kind of like the river that runs between North and South Lodopolis, and this looks like it's kind of like on the other side, a little bit east. Yeah, a little bit east of North Lodopolis. She says we found more or less, or we had. Sorry, let me back up. We had previously sent a operative there to go investigate this building, basically. It had recently been built. It was very secretive on like who owned it. So we sent an operative there to go and figure out what's what. But she has not returned.
What kind of building?
From what we've seen from our initial intelligence, it just looks kind of like a farmhouse, but there's no farm around because it's kind of in the middle of the wastes. It should, especially with your elf legs, should only take you about a day to get there, especially if you leave now. Should only take you half a day, really. Should take you about 12 hours to get there.
Should I expect resistance? I mean, obviously, if the person didn't come back,
Exactly.
They're dead, right?
Exactly.
I'm back.
You are back. Yeah, we're not sure what's there, but that's what we want you to go find out. It could be very dangerous. She was a very senior. Well, not very senior, but she was definitely a veteran of the order, and she has disappeared, and we want to know what has happened to her.
Okay. Is this going to help my stand within the organization? And I've been kind of a peon for a while here, and this is dangerous. And you're coming to me.
Yeah.
Feeling like you're desperate here. So yeah, let's do this.
Way to stroke his ear.
Yeah. So anyway, she's like, as soon as you find out any information, report to the drops in North Lodopolis.
Can I reach out to shake her hand?
Yeah. She walks away.
Oh. Fuck. Well, I was going to try to shake her missing hand anyways, so.
Yeah.
Fuck her. All right, let's go.
Okay. So,
Swift run.
You gather a few, I'll just say you gather a few provisions, and yeah, you kick in with your elf speed, and you start running and 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 running. Give me an athletics check. Why not?
Yeah.
Give me an athletics
That's
check.
good. 19. Straight up. No pluses.
Well, then give me a 1d4.
A 1d4?
Mm-hmm.
3.
You make it there in 9 hours instead of 12 hours.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So, following the map, stopping only occasionally to get your bearings and actually look and see if you're going in the right direction and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and give me a survival as well. See how well you follow that map.
That's a solid 7.
You got a map. I'll give you advantage. Why not?
We
22.
have,
That feels good. 22 is good.
Yeah, 22 is good.
I have some action in chat saying, dude, he's an elf. He runs like a Kenyan.
A Kenyan?
Words of that.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's hilarious.
No.
Yeah.
for those who don't know, elves in Dark Sun do
No, that to us.
they can
That's why.
their normal movement speed is actually 40 instead of 30, and they can run basically at base 50 when they like actually get out on flat land. So they're like really super fast, and it's also a reason why they don't like mounts and stuff like that. So they just
That's why I chose an elf, is because it's much like me in real life, is I run like a Kenyan.
Yes, you do. Especially with that new battery in the back.
Yeah.
So anyway, Joe, you arrive at the place, and yeah, it looks like a relatively nondescript mud building. Well, obviously dried mud. It's kind of got that adobe look on it. One story, looks to be about like 30 by 20. It doesn't look very big. As you approach, you see kind of like a front porch where there's like a door and like a window on either side. All of it's shuttered and the doors are closed.
Have I walked around the back?
You can.
I want to see
You
that.
don't see another entrance.
Nothing. No windows.
There is one window on the back, but it too is shuttered.
Shuttered.
Yeah.
Okay. Any ground entrances? Any cellars or doors that could lead me underground?
Not from the outside, it looks.
Okay. Shit. I'm going to I'm gonna knock on the door.
Okay. There's no response.
No response. Okay. I would like to. Is there anything nearby that I could hide in? Is there brush or shrubbery or anything like that?
It's kind of like in flat sands. There's nothing around for like a few miles.
Can I cast minor illusion and make a booming sound, a very loud what would be a native animal to the region?
Oh, there's all sorts of like kind of like lizard stuff. So it'd be kind of like a mix between a lizard's hiss and a eagle's cackle.
What, do I know thigh green sounds?
Turtles
Just a
having
bunch of
sex.
clicks.
Bunch of clicks.
Yeah, it's like.
Right. How about I make the sound of drums beating very
Sure, you
loud,
can
as
do that.
loud as my minor illusion can make?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Do that.
there's still no apparent reply.
Okay, I'm gonna try to open the door.
Okay, yeah, it opens.
It opens cleanly.
Yeah.
Do I see anything inside? Do I need to roll?
Yeah, roll an investigation or perception, whichever you want.
I mean,
Investigation
my
will
perception's higher. So
yield more results.
16.
For investigation?
Investigation would be a 13.
Okay.
Perception would be a 16.
Okay. So, you walk in, there's like a table and a chair, and pretty much nothing else. It's got this kind of like hard-packed earthing floor. I mean, like, it's not stone and it's not like, hard-packed sand. It looks like it was like actual mud at some point and like then fired over and like, very solid. But you do kind of notice a seam over in one section, and it looks like the outline of a trap door, but you can't quite find a handle or anything.
I don't see anything in the dark or anything. Is it dark?
Yeah, it's dark, but you've got dark vision, so I mean, it's not that big a deal. And if you open the shutters to the windows, and you see the 3 windows, the 2 in the front and the 1 in the back, and if you open it up, it lights up the whole room. And like I said, still the only thing you can find is the outline of what looks like to be a trap door in the kind of like the back left corner.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You said there's a seam,
Yeah, a scene that outlines a trap door.
a trap door.
Yeah.
But there's no handle.
No apparent handle, anyway.
Can I investigate for a handle?
Sure.
Just do some like dirt mopping here with my hand.
Sure.
17.
Oh yeah. You find like there's it's actually kind of cool. You like press on it and it actually pops up and like you lift, and there's
Okay.
now a ladder down.
Okay. I'm going.
Forge Valley also says you super canyon jump onto the roof.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's something that like monks get to where you don't have you double your jump height or something like that. You might not get that till 6 or 7, but whatever.
Yeah, not at my level. I don't. But okay, I'll go down.
Okay, so you go down, you let your eyes adjust a little bit more, and you're in kind of a smaller room, and there's another door. This one looks a bit more sturdy than the one on the front door, but it's still made of wood with, like, you know, nice little doorknob.
I hear nothing. Am I disconnecting?
Oh, no, I
No.
was just waiting for you to
Okay.
respond to the new room.
Okay, yeah, on to the new room.
Yeah, like I said, the new room, it's like smaller, maybe like 5 by 6, and there's a door.
There's a door?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I roll a, no, I'm just gonna open the door, fuck it.
Okay. You open the door, and once you have it like wide open, there's kind of like this eerie green glow to the whole room. But at first glance, you see kind of a long table in the middle, and like all of these like more narrow tables lining the walls. And all of those other tables, there are a whole bunch of like glassware and like stands and all this other kind of stuff. That it's basically an alchemist lab. It's not just the kit. This is like the whole lab. And being familiar with the alchemist kit, you identify some of the stuff like individually. That looks like, you know, it should work for that and that should work for that. But all together, there's all of this extra set of stuff that you have no idea what it's for, or how it's supposed to work together. And you see basically what amounts to these like hoses. And when you inspect the hoses a little bit more, they tend to be made of some sort of like large animal's intestine, which you think, oh, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Never thought about using that before. But and all of these hoses kind of lead off to another room, and you now kind of like see the door because you didn't notice it before because it was kind of like covered up with like curtain. So apparently there's another room where all these hoses are going to.
Can I roll a stealth check and try to approach the door quietly?
You can do that, and you can also roll me a perception.
Okay, so perception
Mhm.
is 18.
Okay. And what's your stealth?
Roll the stealth too.
Mhm.
That would be 17.
Okay. You think you're going through this place pretty quiet, and as you approach the door, you see on like one of the tables next to like a rack of like, you know, beakers and stuff. You see a stack of these like stone obsidian discs about like, maybe like about that big. They'll fit in the palm of your hand, and it's like a stack
Okay.
about like this tall. There's about like 6 of them there.
Okay.
And it just caught your eye because it looks pretty much like your knife, but you could tell that it's obsidian. So it has very little like of those like, you know, chip markings where, you know, it's like rough hewn stone. It's more like smooth, and they're almost like perfectly round. Like,
Can I grab one?
yeah, sure, you can grab one.
Are they heavy?
No, actually, they're a nice heft. They're pretty, like I said, they fit kind of in the palm of your hand. And roll me a dex save.
Save, yes. 20.
Yes. Okay.
13 plus 7.
So you're kind of like messing with your hand, and your thumb kind of hits in the middle, and all of a sudden, like 3 blades pop out of the side. And
Oh shit! Like
That-
ninja stars.
yeah, that kind of like, you know, that the save was to keep your thumb from getting cut off.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
they look pretty sharp.
Are they? Is it on a? Will they retract when I press
Yeah,
the button again?
You find the button again, and yeah, it goes back into the disc.
Okay, I'm gonna pocket those motherfuckers.
Okay.
And then do I see any You said the door. I'm approaching the door stealthily, right? Is there light coming out from the seams of the door?
Yes, that same eerie glow, except a little bit
It's
brighter
green.
and a green. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to. You know how a door would open and you can like hide behind it when it opens?
Well, this is just a curtain, so it's more like a doorway.
It's a
like
curtain?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. I want to get like up against the wall next to where the curtain is. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if I want to ambush someone who come out of it, and then I'm gonna cast minor illusion again,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna make it sound like a bunch of glass breaking and falling over in the room.
Okay. How long do you wait?
At least 30 seconds. Do I hear any sounds or anybody moving on the other side of the room?
Roll me a perception.
Fuck. 13.
You hear the gentle gurgling of like something bubbling. You're not sure if it's bubbling because it's boiling or bubbling because something's being pumped from one place to another, but that's all you hear coming from the other room.
Since it's a curtain, can I pull it a little bit and look?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'll do that.
So when you do, on the other side, you see all the hoses are going to this enormous glass vat. And the best way to describe it is like the Bacta tank from Empire Strikes Back. Except instead of being filled with like clear liquid, it's filled with this green liquid, and that's basically lighting up the whole room. And all of these hoses are going to it. And kind of in the middle of it, because this is taller than you are, and you're an elf, and elves are like pretty fucking tall. Kind of in the middle, floating almost like in a perfect equilibrium, you kind of can make out a human form.
Okay. Inside the tank.
Inside the tank.
How many tubes going in?
Basically all of them. There's like about 15 to 16 different tubes coming from like
shit.
the other room going into here.
Nobody's in the room though with them. Like no one outside of the tank is
It's
standing
only
there.
the tank in this room. Like,
Okay, I want to investigate the tank. I'm gonna fucking knock on the glass and see if that thing moves.
It doesn't appear to.
Do I see a head, shoulders, arms, leg? I mean, is that what
like I said,
I'm
you
seeing?
can kind of make out a full humanoid
Would
figure.
would I suspect that it's the obsidian blade member? Do I see any other identifying things like this?
It's a bit too murky to like actually make out anything.
Okay, I'm gonna fucking punch the glass.
All right. You're gonna hit it
I
because it's not
respect that.
moving, so
I
just roll
respect
damage.
Okay. Just damage of my my obsidian blade. So okay.
Or your unarmed strike. It's basically the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh baby, 10 max damage. 1d6 plus 4. Boom!
All right. Yeah, you like punch in once, and it's like splinter and spider webs and all this other kind of stuff, and doesn't quite break. So you go to punch again, and then whoosh, the whole thing breaks, and your shoes are ruined. Or you assume.
Okay.
This whole thing just like empties out and like washes out in the room, and the figure that was kind of floating just kind of like falls and then like collapses outside. And yeah, you can tell now that it's definitely the shape of a woman who appears nude. Roll me a perception.
$17.
Okay. So, yeah, you, as you like kind of like step back and then like look to see what happened, you see this, well, like I said, at first glance, it looked like a woman. It definitely has like a feminine form. But as you look closer, her left leg seems to be made of like, I mean, it's shaped like a leg should be, but it seems to be made of wood and ceramic. And her right arm is the same, and all of her like finger joints are all like, it almost looks like a skeletal hand, but wide enough to make it look like it should be in a proportionate sized hand, matching her other left hand, which looks natural. And she's kind of like face down on the ground right now. And she's got like all these tubes like coming out like the back of her head, and like in certain parts of like down her spine.
Burn it with fire.
She sounds hot.
Okay. Can I scoop up some of this liquid with my kit and fucking
Sure.
Okay, I want to do that first. I got a little leg there, so this is all finger joints are sort of skeletal. Left hand looks natural. She's face down on the ground. Tubes coming out the back of her head.
Her right arm and her left leg are made out of like wood and ceramic, and like she doesn't have any clothes on at the moment. Where her arm and her leg meet, like the hip and the shoulder joint, it like almost blends perfectly natural into her apparent skin and torso.
Is she dead? Do I suspect?
You got medicine?
I mean, no. I do. I mean, I have a +3 in medicine, but I don't have it proficient.
You can try and use it like untrained. I mean,
that would be a 14. Is she dead?
She has this kind of weird. I mean, she feels warm. I mean, she feels like she should be, well, except for like whenever you touch her leg or her shoulder, or the artificial ones, those are like cold. But the rest of her body seems to be normal temperature, and she has this kind of like weird flow, but she doesn't seem to be breathing. I mean, like she has a pulse, like something's definitely pulsing inside of her, but she doesn't seem to be breathing.
Okay.
And as you like flip her over, because you had to do that just to like kind of examine her, you notice a couple of tubes are going into her mouth and her like nose.
Pull them out.
Okay. It takes a second, but then all of a sudden she starts like coughing up like more of that liquid, which seems more viscous and green than like what she was like floating in. And then she just starts like coughing and hacking and.
Okay, so she's okay. I'm gonna ask her if she's okay.
Nice.
I'll say, "Are you?" I'll just ask her. First of all, I'll ask her if she's okay.
Okay, well, she still kind of in the middle of like hacking and stuff like that, but eventually she just kind of like looks around and she like wipes her nose like that, and she just stands straight up. Kind of like looks and kind of like blinks off into the distance.
I'll ask her again if she's okay.
She looks at you and she says,
And she says,
Are you with the master?
Did you say the master?
She says, are you with the master?
Yeah, I'm with the master. Are you okay?
Has he given you the proper protocols?
Yeah. I'm supposed to take you back, actually. We're supposed to get out of here.
Okay, code in.
Did you know about this?
No, that's what she says. She says code
Go ahead.
in.
I'm lagging. I need help.
She says code
Brad.
in.
Code blue.
Code in?
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, I'm gonna respond with,
That's all she says.
I'm supposed to ask you the code. I'm supposed to ask you the code.
Roll initiative.
Oh, shit, boy. Initiative.
13.
Okay. You go before her. You see her like, and the reason you go before her is you kind of hear this as her like fake hand curls into a fist, and you see this arm rise like she's about to give a left hook, or sorry, a right hook since it's her right hand. So yeah, she's attacking you because you didn't give the proper code words. So what are you gonna do?
Well, I'm gonna fucking stab her.
Okay. Roll to hit then.
Roll to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I rolled a 17 plus. Yeah, I hit 17 plus 4. Or 17 plus 7.
Are you sure you hit?
24.
You're just assuming that you hit? Yeah, you hit. You
the 24 hit?
Yes, 24 hits.
Okay. 8 damage.
Okay. Are you only going to attack once?
Yes.
Okay. So you stab into her, and you do a pretty good amount of damage, but as soon as you retract your knife, instead of blood, out oozes that green stuff. But this time it's like it's like neon green and like oozy and viscous. Doesn't run like blood. And roll a perception.
You say perception?
Yes.
16.
Okay. As you're mildly freaked out by that, you still can't like quite look away, but you know you have to like pay attention to the fight because you know she's about to hit you. But in that last second, you also notice the green ooze kind of flow back into the wound. Like you stabbed her, and when you pulled it out, it came out, and then it goes kind of back into the wound. And then oh yeah, your armor class. Yep.
Do I suspect that wound is closed up? Like, did it like Wolverine?
It seems like it was going in that direction, but like I said, you had to pay too much attention to this like right hook that's coming at your face, which it did. Give me a Constitution save. Yeah. Oh, he might have froze.
God damn it, Joe and his internet.
What a loser.
Poor.
All right. Well, just like a movie, the scene will shift to you guys. So.
Did I disconnect?
No, but you did this for a while. Okay, you're back.
Wait. I caught the end of. You said roll a Constitution. Did you catch what I said?
Save. Yes. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 14.
Okay.
14.
You are stunned, and you take 19 damage.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, she hits like a fucking Mack truck.
Okay. Can I, is it my turn?
Yeah, it's not your turn.
Are we switching, or is it still me?
It's still you.
I'm going to spend a key point and take the disengage action.
Okay. All right. So she starts in with like another hit since you didn't go down with the first one. But you like kind of like duck under her like follow up, and you rush out of the room. How far are you gonna run away? Because you can basically, with your movement, make it all the way outside the building.
Yeah, I got like 45 feet. Yeah, I'm getting the fuck out.
Okay. Like, are you gonna just keep on running, or are you just gonna stop and wait outside the building?
No, I'm running, man.
Okay. So where are you?
I'm going back to town.
Back to town. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you're a little bit closer to North Ladopolis, and that's where Anura said to go and report for the drop. So,
okay. I'll go there.
Yeah, you go back there, and you drop off whichever you need to drop off. Roll me an investigation again.
Investigation. 16.
Okay. In asking around, you find out that the rest of your party hired an expedition team or a tracking team, or specifically one tracker, and had headed out the desert. And asking a little bit more, you're able to get a general direction on the way they went. So roll me a survival.
14.
Okay, so you can kind of keep in the same direction and stuff. Now roll me in athletics.
That's +0, so that's just a 12. Shit.
Well, you're all right. So it'll take you the normal 2 days to get there.
Okay. You're gonna switch off to me, right? I got a pee real bad.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
But did I transcribe in the drop exactly what happened?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Unless you wanted to add anything extra or different or anything like that.
I mean, just the green shit flowed back into her and all the stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so you guys. So you have this druid in the hedge of flowers. What are you guys gonna do?
So we had got to the point where Heidi was, Sam was communicating with Heidi to so that she could understand the druid within the.
Oh yeah, that's
Well, I
right.
mean, we don't know that, or
He
what
was
we do
gonna-
know he's a druid.
He was gonna cast tongues. Roll a religion check, Sam.
I'm gonna use the good dice now.
The good dice.
Uh-huh.
Yes, break out
The
the
good dice. After you roll a 5 and you realize it is the good dice. Fuck. Religion?
Yeah.
12.
Okay, I mean that's good enough. You had cast another spell before. You are able to cast tongues on Heidi.
Oh, I can cast it on her now.
Well, I mean you can cast it really on anyone. It's just like I said, breaking through the barrier.
Okay.
Okay, and Heidi, you are now able to speak and understand any language spoken to you. And again, I think on the previous one, you had harvested enough pollen to sort of induce that psychedelic trip that will get you back to where you can communicate with the druid if you would like to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. I probably should do that, huh? Guys.
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so roll me a.
Oh, good.
Well, I mean, you can voluntarily fail the wisdom save if you want to, because that would put you into the induced, mental state. Basically,
You want me?
it'll get you high.
I want to be high.
Yeah. Okay. So, again, lots of pretty colors, lots of swirling, and then kind of out of the middle of the swirling, the Thrycreen druid pops out, and again you hear, but you understand. You need to help get me out. I've been trapped here for a couple of days, and I can't get out of this. I was just investigating the flowers. Do you know anything about these flowers?
We know little about these flowers.
Oh.
We talked to an alchemist. It was an alchemist, right?
Yeah, that guy at the beginning was an alchemist.
Yeah.
Um,
I talked to an alchemist, and we got little information.
So, well, my problem is my stasis field is keeping the plants, or whatever they are, from actually surrounding me, but whatever aura they give off is making me jump from the prime material to the black and back and forth. And it's, I don't know how much longer I can hold the stasis. So, do you have any suggestions? Roll an Arcana.
Boot his ass.
Or slap one person during this day. You know what I'm talking about? I'll do it again.
Dude, you
Pull
can lay
his
down
ass.
that.
I got a 20.
Pull his ass out of that bush. Smack him. Tell him to get out.
Between your
Quit
Arcana
getting hopped up on flowers.
and his nature, he recommends a way to possibly poison the plant. He says it matches other plant species that I've seen, but I'm not entirely sure. So the best thing would be to use a particular. He gives you a name of like a poison, and and you, with your arcana, vaguely recognize it as being a caustic kind of like poison. It's not like, it's not something that like will, it eats away basically. And he's like, if you put it in like kind of the plant's food system, or basically at the roots, it should burn them away enough to where he can stabilize his stasis, and then he should be able to come out of it.
Okay. Do you know where I can get this poison?
He rattles off a whole bunch of plant names that you've never heard of, and he's like, they're pretty common.
Do you know where I can find this for plants?
He's like, oh. He was about to say, like, oh, you can get him out of my pouch on my belt, but he was like, oh, but you
The
can't.
fuck is that noise?
Yeah, sounds
That's
good.
motherfuckers banging shit for some reason. Yeah, that's why I left earlier when my friends came over. Shit. Now I want to know what they're doing.
What about you? That's like music.
I don't know. You never know. They might just be getting drunk. But,
All right.
Damn, it's
you
loud as fuck.
bastards.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, god damn it.
That's really loud.
There he goes. Oh, man.
Okay, so Heidi, you have that bit of information.
Turn the fuck down!
You can come out anytime you want, since you induced it yourself. And part of like your Arcana rules to like figure all that out. You can kind of come in and out whenever you want.
I would fucking murder anybody. It's just funny.
Holy shit! This game, like, is that his neighbors or something?
I think it's his like
Yeah.
roommates.
His roommate.
Holy shit!
So, Heidi,
Yeah,
it's not that funny.
I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
So, you have your information. Do you want to come out of your trip?
Yeah, because one of my lovely team members should be able to help me find sunflowers, right?
Probably.
Alright, let's go check with them.
Okay.
Even though I don't know any of the names, but...
No,
Just
you,
leave
you
it
know
there?
the names. I just don't know the names of these flowers
Are you good?
or these various plants. But yeah, you would be able to remember them. You're a smart elf lady. You'll be able to remember them. I just didn't want to make up names for plants because have you ever made
Gotcha.
up names for plants, Heidi? Have you ever made up names for plants?
You know how well I name my WoW characters, so I can't imagine naming a plant.
Exactly.
That's how I name my WoW characters.
So you come out of your trip, and roll me a perception.
Alright, let me...
So what are they doing?
Oh god, you can still hear that. That's why I asked.
Yeah, it
Oh,
got
it's
louder.
bad.
It was really quiet when you asked, and then it got louder.
I got a 15.
Okay. As you come out, your senses are like a little more heightened. You kind of figure that like this hallucinogen, basically, or that the pollen of this flower is like a hallucinogen among all of its other effects that it does. And off to the northwest, you see the unmistakable dust cloud of basically a tribe of elves on the move. Because with all of them running as fast as they do, they kick up this huge dust cloud. And you've seen this before. This is old hat for you. You grew up in places like this. And then off to the south, you see another cloud of a single elf running in your direction. The larger tribe looks like it'll sweep close to you, but not quite like towards you. They'll just like kind of like pass by this like little dip in like the dunes where you guys have like where you guys are with the druid. But the single cloud of an elf running towards you is running directly towards you.
Okay.
And then everyone's here. Hi, everybody. Well, except for Sam.
Hi, guys.
Am I back?
Court.
Hold on.
Okay.
You hold your horses.
He doesn't need horses.
I run like a canyon, according to Forge of Valley.
So, what do you tell them, Heidi?
Say, I just talked to the druid. He needs help out of there. And to do so, we need to poison this.
And the mole ranger says, did he give any suggestions on how?
He did. I'm glad you asked. He gave me a list of plants that we can get said poison.
Oh, what are the names of those plants?
Heidi rattles them off perfectly.
Yeah, those.
Gives their like binomial nomenclature, like names.
Yeah, those. So, have any of you heard of those?
The mole and the halfling kind of exchange looks, not necessarily like bad looks, but just like, do you know where they are? And they both kind of shrug. It's like, yeah, we've heard of them, but they wouldn't be around here. I mean, and he kind of like looks off to the south, or sorry, the northwest, and he's like, but that tribe of elves might have some.
Mal kind of squints his eyes and thinks in his head, man, need out a plant. And he's just going to let that be known. He's looking at the plant right now.
Okay.
I would like to, at this time, see if I could meditate to see if I could also use my divine sensing powers from O Lord Mighty Grey to discover the whereabouts of these plants on the physical realm.
Sure, go for it. Give me a room.
Dope. Oh, shit. So that's 9, 12 again.
There aren't any around here. There's definitely some on the prime material somewhere, but there aren't any around here.
Okay. I'm going to notify the party that my senses do not pick them up.
Everybody roll a perception. Except for Heidi.
Oh, baby. Am I there, Dylan?
What?
Am I there?
No, not you. What did everyone roll?
What was it? Perception?
Yeah, perception.
23.
23? Okay.
With his perception, can I tell whether or not that plant looks like a man could be pulled out of it?
Yeah, you can kind of sense space between where the Thicreen is in the middle, even though he's kind of in a stasis bubble.
Yeah.
You can kind of sense that, and the vines around it, and nothing is touching. I mean, he's kind of like floating in the middle of it.
So if I pass a wisdom save, then I could possibly pull this dude out of this plant.
You don't think so, because even though your senses can like kind of like perceive the stasis bubble, you don't know what happens if you stick your hand in the stasis bubble.
Yeah, I got you. And so I'm like aware that might not be a good idea. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you think it might be a good idea. But Brad, along with the mole pointing out what looks like a passing tribe of elves, you've heard stories. You haven't actually seen it, so you're like, hey, that's pretty cool. Whole big dust cloud. That's probably elves. You kind of glance to your right and to the south, and you see a single dust cloud coming from the south, basically directly towards your position.
I'm going to point that out to everybody else.
All right. So
I was going to say where.
Yeah.
I'm going to point that way.
Yeah. It's kind of out of Mal's perception. But nonetheless, you kind of like look to the south. It's kind of coming from the direction you came, or what you thought the direction you thought you came, and then cresting over the hill, you see Joe, or sorry, Carrick. Hi, Carrick.
Yay!
What's up?
He has
Where have you been?
I'm going to say Mal says Basal. No.
Why are you just joining us?
He's. Oh
Is it
my,
because you
disconnecting.
lagged out?
He's disconnecting. He says hello.
I don't know if you can hear me, but hello.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I take a short rest? If you can't tell, I got my ass kicked.
Oh no, it took you a couple of days to get here. You're fully healed back.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, DM.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Nice.
Okay. Okay. Hello, I'm back.
Welcome back. Where you
Oh,
been?
yeah, I can't do nothing with that fucking bike ring. Damn it.
So he doesn't know anything that's transpired, and so Mal's going to tell him that the sergeant had died. He's just going to be rattling this off. Basically, he's going to say the sergeant has died. We are trying to resurrect his body, and that leads us to here. And currently, you already rattled off those flowers, so we all know that we're looking for him. I'm going to drop that list of flowers on him.
Oh, he was there
Yeah,
when
I'm
I
gonna-
died.
Well,
He
he
just
knows
left
that part,
after.
but he.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, if Heidi do you tell him the list of flowers?
I rattled that shit off.
Well, what's the list of flowers about?
Joe, roll me a nature.
Oh, cool.
But you get to use your
Well,
wisdom instead of your intelligence. So add your wisdom bonus instead of your intelligence bonus.
14.
You think you have those in your alchemist kit?
Really?
Yeah.
All of the flowers?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, I got those. I got all those. I'll pull out a little pouch. Check this shit out.
Okay. So
Miles
there's
just
kind of
nods
this
to
exchange of
himself and kind of
information.
says, "Plant is lucky."
Heidi tells you the list of flowers. She tells you the kind of poison that the druid told her about. You're gonna go make it. Roll me your alchemist kit proficiency, which is basically just your proficiency bonus. And we'll say plus your wisdom. Why not?
Okay.
It's usually intelligence, but we'll do it plus your wisdom.
Proficiency and wisdom, you said?
Yeah, your proficiency bonus and your wisdom bonus.
And then it's a 19.
Okay. You are like, yeah, I can make this. You get out the kit. You start a little fire so you can boil down some components and all this other kind of stuff, and you get the mortar and pestle and you're mashing it up into a nice paste and you're putting it in there. You're adding some water. Oops, somebody dropped. Oh, and they're back.
He's back. I think Brad and I are having the same internet issues.
Yeah.
Don't you guys
on the
live
same
5
provider.
minutes from each other?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, you finish it all off, and you're like, right before you do it, you're like, I'm missing something. And yes, you go back into your pouch and you look for one of the flowers that she listed off, and you would kind of skip the step because you were like, oh, look, I can do this. I get to use it. And yes, you are actually missing one flower or one plant out of the whole list of ingredients. It's moderately common, but not out here in the wastes. And you can finish it, and all you need to do is add that one last component. But right now your little potion is on pause until you can get that last.
I'll tell Mal that I just need the one. I fucked up. I need the one plant still.
Mal starts looking around, saying, "Maybe we could find it somewhere."
Brad, roll a history. And also, Heidi and Joe, since you're elves, roll a history with advantage.
I got a 10.
Goddamn shiesty elves.
Nope. Good goddamn.
Did you say religion?
No, history with
History.
advantage.
Oh,
For you
history.
two.
Sorry, history with advantage.
Ancient aliens.
19, 12 and 19. So I'll take the 19.
Well, obviously.
14.
Okay. Both of you are well aware that elven tribes tend to deal in all sorts of
Drugs.
dry commodities. And the specific plant you're looking for is quite often used in elven cuisine to give it a kind of smoky, piquant flavor.
That reminds me, real quick,
Happy pops.
Bradley, this is out of game. I know about the drugs. I don't think I've forgotten. I have not forgotten that.
I don't think you know about any drugs.
Oh yeah, I'm still on to your character. Very suspicious.
So, oh, and as luck would have it, both Heidi and Brad have seen the dust cloud of a passing elven tribe.
We have. Yep.
Are you
So-
suggesting that we go after an elf tribe to try to negotiate dry goods? Because
I think we need to go do some wheeling and dealing.
Have the last ingredient you would need.
okay,
Yeah, it was
do some
mentioned they
wheeling and
would
dealing.
help us. But they
Good thing we have a bard here who can charm the shit out of him. I hope, with his good looks and wit, of course, not magic.
we will sing a song.
Mhm.
Okay, well,
It's not suspicious
I
at all
suspect-
when he charms a song into their way.
yeah, I mean,
All right, so we're going after the cloud of elves.
Yes.
Yes.
Your mounts are where you left them. There's the two rangers volunteer to stay with the druid, even though he's not really going anywhere. And Jitters asks, "Do you want me to go?"
Are you familiar with these people?
With elves? I mean, I've met a few, but I haven't actually met them on their turf, so to say.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, I'll go then.
I mean, you gonna watch a guy not move here?
Got nothing else to do.
Exactly. Let's go.
All right. So, everybody who has a mount mounts up. Everybody who prefers to go on foot goes on foot. And once you crest the oh, there went Joe. Hopefully he'll be back.
Sam. No.
No.
Sir.
I'm here.
Joe, because he was
Joe's
freezing.
gone.
Yeah, he was all frozen. Oh, now he's back.
it's bad. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. I mean, you can just like stay audio. We don't need to see. We've seen your pretty face. We can see it again.
We're still seeing it.
Yeah, sort of, because you got your little icon.
Icon. Yeah.
So, again, as soon as you crest the hill, it's pretty easy to see the huge dust cloud. So you can basically set yourself on an intercept course. Heidi, since you're the most elfy of all the elves here, you know that elven tribes normally don't stop running until the end of the day, and you're still a good 2 or 3 hours from sunset. You're kind of nearing dusk, but it's still kind of like, well, I mean, it's kind of like summertime where like at 1 minute it's like bright at 8 o'clock and then like it's dark at like 9:10. It's kind of like that. So like I said, it's still pretty bright outside and you're about 2 hours from sunset. So you figure they aren't going to stop soon, but they will eventually stop.
Question: won't they see like a group of people following them?
Yeah.
No.
Couple?
No, they won't.
Oh, won't
They
they?
won't.
How
No.
won't-
No.
How won't they?
No.
When we get close enough, if they don't know that we're there already, like from fur, I have passed without a trace. They're not gonna see shit.
Oh, okay, probably.
I think we want them to see us.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Do we want to just jump up on them? Papa, we're here. Give us your goods.
Are you thinking of stealing it from them?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Oh, okay.
like I said, when you crest the hill and you can see the dust cloud, when you see there, it looks like a good 200-300 strong tribe.
No, we'll just approach it with peace.
Change their tune real quick.
Never mind. Change my tune.
Scratch that.
Yeah, scratch that.
Okay.
That changed around quickly.
Yeah.
You know kind of the best protocol when meeting up with a tribe, or meeting up with any elven tribe, yours, any of the others that you've like been in contact with. You know it's best to kind of like let their scouts see you and then approach you, and then they bring you in. They bring you in, essentially. So you kind of suggest to everyone to kind of just like run alongside, and as you do, it takes you about like 15-20 minutes to actually kind of catch up. But once you're there, kind of like running alongside, you hear all sorts of like whistles, and 3 elves kind of like break off from the rest of the pack, and they like run alongside you, and they kind of like signal you to stop up ahead, which is where they're going to stop, so that you can actually like talk. Do you guys stop?
He signals to the rest of the guys. Yeah.
I don't get a choice in this. I have to stay with him.
You're with 100 feet. Oh, and that corpse is trucking. He's just running.
He's just
well,
floating away.
he's kind of like dead arm running, but he's running.
Mal has a mount, right? If I remember correctly.
Do what?
Am I crazy? I was saying Mal has a mount, right?
Yeah. You and
Am I
Brandon
crazy?
both have Erdloos that could easily keep up with elves.
Nice.
And I signal to the rest of the guys, to join me over here.
They kind of sprint ahead a little bit to kind of like meet you, and you eventually like slow down and kind of like meet under the shade of this like kind of like rocky outcropping. And as everything kind of like, as you slow down, catch your breath a little bit, and kind of like look, Heidi, give me a history.
Oh, hold on.
20.
20?
All right. I'm going to need a break here a minute.
Oh, it is kind of break time.
Yeah.
Okay, so just real quick, before we go on break, Heidi, you noted, because like every tribe kind of has their own like markings, and they usually like wear them either like on their armor or as kind of like a bone necklace, and like I said, every tribe kind of has like their own like flair, let's say. You recognize this tribe. It's a tribe that you've had lots, or your tribe has had lots of dealings with. You personally have like only really seen like merchants and stuff like that. It's it's kind of like 2 small cities meeting each other. You don't know everybody in this tribe, but you've definitely heard of this tribe, and you know this tribe knows about your tribe. If you get my hint.
So they know about me.
They might. You don't really know how fast words spread, but they might.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh! We're going to find out what happens when we come back from the break.
See y'all in 10 to find out what happens.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll be back in 10.
You should put me on the back burner a little bit, just in
Oh,
case.
you're all together, so.
I know, but like, I'm not gonna make any decisions because half the time I can't hear anything.
Well, that's up to the crew.
Brad's
All
gonna
right.
tell me when to punch.
Yeah. So, we're back. You, like I said, you now have before you 3 elven scouts. One has a bow, one has a spear, and the other one doesn't have any apparent weapons, but is still standing there nonetheless. And they greet you in Elf. So, who besides Joe and Heidi speak Elf? Brad, do you
I
speak
do.
Elf?
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else?
No.
No. I already cast Tongues on Heidi at once. I'm not going to do that again because it's a level 3 spell. That won't hurt.
Okay. So, they say, greetings, travelers. Do you require assistance?
We do.
Elves. I was gonna
Sorry,
say.
I was trying to camp.
He's saying it in
Oh.
Elf, so if you don't
Damn
speak Elf, then you
elves.
can't understand.
Right.
That's why I'm like, I'm just gonna be wheeling my Erdlu in circles like Mel
We-
Gibson in Brave.
We do require assistance. We are looking for a certain plant
Mhm.
to make a potion.
All right. What's the
She
plan?
calls them potions. It's actually just a recipe. We're bakers, traveling
Recipe.
bakers.
Yeah.
There you go, Brad.
Roll a deception.
Oh, that was sly as fuck, though. What are you talking about?
24.
Okay. They're like, makes sense. You're
Baking.
We're looking
So-
for a particular ingredient. Heidi, what was the name of that again?
I rattle it off.
all right. Yeah, they're like, yeah, our merchants might have some of that. How much do you need?
Carrick?
A small amount, like
No.
no more than like what would be the equivalent of a tablespoon.
So yeah, just
Yeah,
a real
just-
small amount. Just making a special little meal for a friend.
Okay.
A birthday birthday present.
Yeah, we like one of them like looks up at the sun and then like looks at the shadow that like is being cast by this like rock outcropping, and he's like, "Well, we won't be stopping for like another hour or so, but if you can keep up, once we do stop, you're welcome to trade."
All right. We will follow.
Hours.
Okay.
So okay.
They turn around and sprint off at elven speeds.
And we,
So I just like wave at everybody and be like, "Come on,
Okay.
keep
So-
up."
Like they said, an hour later, it's now you can definitely see that the sun is setting, and it's gonna actually be it's gonna be pretty dark very soon. But they all stop. Tents go up almost immediately. It's like this practiced event that they do basically every night, and they're all set up in a particular pattern. Everyone has their own little like spot.
Oh, yeah.
Heidi, you know, just from your tribe, or the way your tribe normally does it, is they'll stick a large spear in what would be the center of camp, and people know their like certain degree of a circle. Like I always set my tent up at like 187 degrees south or whatever, something like that. So, and they do kind of the same thing. You don't know exactly everyone's like spot because you only interacted with this tribe kind of like, in a passing capacity, but
briefly.
it's what elves do, and it's very similar to what your tribe did, and you feel kind of homesick.
Oh,
Little tear. Anyway,
Are they?
Um,
what's the food situation going on their end? Like, are they cooking some? Are they roasting some stuff over fires? Or are they like
a handful
they
of
just
people,
got like elf bread or some shit?
a handful of people are. It looks pretty much like each family unit goes into their own stores. There's not one big giant like feast going on. That's usually only for special occasions.
Okay.
So yeah, all of these
Gotcha.
individual fires are popping up, and people are like starting meals over them. Heidi, you know that it's kind of elven custom to you can't refuse anyone hospitality if they ask, but if they never ask, you don't have to offer. So no one's offering. But you know that if you ask someone, they can't refuse it because of like, bad luck and blah 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 blah.
I
So-
pass that information along to anyone who doesn't speak out or the rest of the team. Just letting them know if they are hungry, if they do need anything.
Yeah.
Feel free to ask anyone. They're on that.
Provided they understand you too. They don't. They use that since resources are scarce in the desert. They use that to the most technical version or most technical interpretation of that law possible. So like, if you don't ask them an elf or you don't ask them in a language they don't understand, they'll still be like, sorry.
Yes. So let one of us know who does speak it, and we can help.
Miles
So
just been
do you
kind of
just
making
pick
fun of
a
the elves
family at
under his
random,
breath.
or do you want to try and find the tradesman or the merchants?
I say we get the merchant out of the way. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so you ask around, and you eventually find your way to kind of like the merchants all kind of like gather together in like one section of the camp, and they have a few things set up, and yeah, a few families come by because they didn't have one thing or another for their meal, so they like ask them. Their copper pieces are exchanged, or like some sort of bartering thing is exchanged, and like they go away. You eventually come to one merchant. Loading.
I just wanted
He's
to be
got all of
noted
his
that
like kind of stuff set up on like these various rugs. He's got one of those tents with like a large opening, but like the awning that comes out over it. Compared to the other tents, and his is pretty big. He looks like pretty rich. And yeah, Heidi, you're like, wow, this guy's pretty rich.
This guy is.
And he's kind of like sitting out in the middle of it. You see like a handful of like other elves in the tent running around doing various things in the tent, but he's kind of like sitting out on a rug, kind of like legs crossed. And he sees you approach. He's like, welcome, visitors. Is there anything amongst my wares that you would like to buy?
As we look around, do we recognize what we need?
you said
Oh
that's
yeah, he has like
Elvish?
a small like little rack of spices or you assume they're spices. There's like a really heavy smell of like spices coming from it. In various ceramic or glass jars. I mean, some of them are clear, some of them are like opaque because they're ceramic. But yeah, you see like a little rack over there. You don't know if that particular one's in there because none of them are labeled, but you know that he does at least sell herbs and spices.
Nathan was asking, was it in Elvish that we're talking right now, or?
Oh yeah, he greets everyone in Elvish. The whole tribe
Okay, I
is
was
like
just making
speaking
sure.
Elvish, and will only
Yeah, I
speak
gotcha.
Elf unless you.
So
Can we ask him for that particular herb?
I mean, you can have you.
No, we should. Who's talking? Heidi?
Yeah. I am looking for set herbs.
Okay.
Do you have any available
He's
for
like,
cooking something?
and he stands up and he goes to like the little thing of spices and stuff like that. Joe, roll me a perception.
19.
Okay, you kind of notice two things. First of all, you notice like Heidi just kind of like falls into this like pattern of like talking and like interacting and all this other kind of stuff. She kind of like seems like she's in her element. Like if you didn't know what she looked like, she would have just disappeared into this tribe and you never would have seen her again because she blends in so well with everyone else. Two,
Okay.
the second thing you notice is everyone notices the exact opposite from you. You're getting all sorts of elf eyes on you. Like, because they'll do something that you've never seen before. Like, they'll touch their head and that's supposed to mean something, but you don't know what. So you just keep walking and they're like,
Yeah.
he's being rude.
I
You're
don't know
not
the
head
way.
nodding to him.
I don't
They're
know the
nodding
ways.
their heads at you, and you're not nodding back.
Right. I don't know the ways. I was taken as a young child. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know the ways.
Do any of the rest of us notice this going on?
No, this is pretty subtle elven shit.
Okay.
Okay.
And again, nobody's being outright hostile, but they do think Joe's kind of rude.
And I'm noticing that.
You are
Well, they
noticing
aren't
that,
wrong.
yes.
I'm getting looks.
Yeah.
Um,
Whereas Heidi's just like, hey guys, how's it going? I've been here all the time.
well, she should
My
keep doing the
people.
talking then.
My peoples.
But- I look like an
Me?
asshole.
Yeah.
What's up? Well, no, I'm not gonna say. All right. Whoa.
Whoa.
Get us the herb.
Did we get that herb?
So he says, well, I mean, I have the entire vial for 5 ceramic pieces, or I mean, I could break it up. Let me see if I have any bags. And he shouts out to, he's like, Enulin, come here. And like one of the elves from the tent comes in and he's like, can you fetch me like smaller pouches? I mean, how much do you need? He asks you. Heidi.
We need a small amount, like a couple.
Maybe get a little more than a small in case I fuck this up.
I was gonna say he would know.
He's like, okay, go fetch some of those small pouches from the back. And the younger, well, I mean, all these elves kind of look the same age, but like this one's a little bit shorter. And they bow, but then they look at you, Heidi, and they kind of tilt their head, and then they go back into the tent.
I quickly turn away to shield my face.
All right, roll a deception.
Ah! Hang on 1 second. $19.
Okay. So the merchant kind of makes small talk with you. Whatever, like, desert elf small talk would be like, oh, sand's pretty rough in the vagina today, or I don't know.
Did you just say sand's pretty rough in the vagina today?
I don't know what desert elves talk about. What do desert elves talk about?
Yeah.
If they aren't talking about that, they're doing it wrong. Carrie.
They probably are doing it very wrong. So, a little bit of time passes, and like the younger elf comes back with a pouch, or with like actually a bunch of pouches, and hands it off to the merchant. And Heidi, roll
Yeah.
perception.
Perception?
Perception.
$13.
Okay. You kind of catch. You didn't get all of it, but you definitely see the young kid kind of like lean into the merchant and say something. You know that even though all elves speak quote unquote elvish, each tribe has their own kind of like. It's basically like the version of Pig Latin, so that they can kind of talk in like code to each other and still keep it separate from another tribe. It's based on elf, like the elven language, kind of like Pig Latin's based in English. But each tribe does like a different form, so it like throws them all off, and nobody uses the same. But you did hear him say something in that, but you obviously, 1, don't know the code, and 2, didn't catch all of it. So you're not entirely sure, but he did say something to the merchant. The merchant just nods,
And then he's like, "Oh, well, since you only needed a small amount, how about we say 8 bits? And 12 bits make up 1 ceramic point. Or, sorry, 10 bits make up 1 ceramic point. So basically, it's like a silver.
So that's a pretty good deal.
I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, you don't need a lot of it, and it's a relatively common spice.
All right.
What else are they selling?
What are you looking for? I mean, what are you looking for specifically?
Well, does he appear to have any rare plants? And they obviously don't have any of the purple flower?
No, they definitely don't have any of that.
Don't stress yourself. I was just wondering. If they don't have anything that's rare, then I don't care.
Super rare. No.
Okay.
I mean, they have a couple of spices that are more common in Draj than they are in like the southern city-states like Bodach. But I mean, that's kind of what he does. Is he like buys common spices in Draj and sells them in Bodach, and then buys common spices in Bodach and goes and sells them in Draj, that kind of thing.
And I'm sorry, I might have missed this earlier, but like, what exactly is this spice flower plant concoction that I'm?
It's basically a corrosive poison that will like eat at the roots of the freaky flower that will allow the hedge to die, so that the druid can come out of it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
He's like the three-eyed raven. He's like stuck in the tree.
Well, not exactly. It's more like he's kind of being eaten alive by like a man-eating plant, but the man-eating plant can't clamp its jaws around his like little stasis bubble. That's what it's more like.
Okay.
So, okay.
Fair enough.
The exchange goes off without a hitch. You guys are more or less done, but it is nighttime, and you're about 3 hours away from where the druid was. I mean, you can find your way back because you got jitters with you, but yeah, I mean, do you want to like stay the night here? Do you want to like stay right outside? Do you want to?
Can we just go back?
Does everybody have dark vision?
Yeah, I do. Brad does.
Well, I would say everyone but Sam, but Sam's on the gray, so he does have kind of dark vision because it's always the same color.
Gray.
Yeah,
Quick question about these Urdus. They're like velociraptor bird things, right?
They're a little bit closer to an ostrich than they are a velociraptor, but they're definitely a lizard, and they do have like the tiny hands. But most you either get like. They're either
you call it lizard, I call it a velociraptor. But we're gonna. They have dark vision too. Like everybody could make it back is what I'm getting at.
They don't have dark vision, but they're like horses. They rely on you to move them. They don't.
Okay.
Or they're like horses with blinders that they rely on you to actually drive them.
Okay.
So yeah,
if you guys want to go back, or
you could do like 3-hour trip back.
I say I want to get out of here before anyone notices.
That's good. That's better than. Oh, kitty!
Oh, look at the kitty. That is so
Eat
adorable.
him.
Anyway.
I love it.
All right, kitty.
So
it's bid our adieus and head out.
Right.
Yeah, I do the same thing I've been doing.
As you're leaving, one of the scouts that you first met with, like when you were like first approaching, and another elf who, he's wearing some armor and has some weapons on him. I mean, he's not exactly being threatening, but he is approaching you with the scout, and he's like, "Aren't you gonna stay?"
Oh, we've really got to get back to this birthday. It's like first thing in the morning. We gotta hit the road. No offense. I mean, we don't mean your people any offense by any means.
And where is this birthday?
I have no idea where we're at.
Your character would. So roll some deception and just it's over in this town,
What the hell was the town that we left with the damn?
North
I guess
Ladopolis.
we're 2 days from there.
25.
Yeah, I mean, you spin a pretty good web of lies, and he's like, well, it's not exactly safe to travel at night. We would be remiss if we didn't offer you shelter for the night, because we wouldn't want you to be eaten by the worms.
Worms? Did you say?
Are you getting that
Anybody
sandworms?
can roll a nature at this point. If you want to roll a nature, I will accept any of your nature
I
rolls.
need to know.
I DC'd for a second too, so I'm sorry.
I got a 13, and I might
16.
have something to go with my nature.
Roll a nature check.
20.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Heidi knows. Brad probably
Yeah,
knows. Nathan might know.
Nah, I have a 13, is what I
Okay.
was
Well,
saying.
I mean, you've
So that's
heard
it.
you've heard mention of it because you are from the West.
That's what I'm saying. Are you
Yeah.
saying sandworm?
Basically, yeah.
Ah.
not quite-
Only it.
They're not quite
they're nocturnal?
dune-sized sandworms. Like they can't swallow a skyscraper, but
So you're saying they're fightable? Okay.
they're pretty big
Right.
though. Still, I mean, they're still a good 20, 30 feet long.
Are they nocturnal?
Yeah.
Eh.
They come up more to the surface at night because it's cooler, and they hunt and swallow things at night.
So
Because there's all
Maybe
those
we
sorts of
should
animals that only come out at night too. So that's like their main hunting pattern.
shit. Should we just stay?
I'm down.
I don't know. It's pretty
We're gonna
boring here in the
insult
gray.
them
You
if we
guys can
don't.
come give me company.
Yeah, I'm like a walking insult to them anyway. So
I know it.
So with the elves, like knowing the elves or whatever, Sam's body's not a deal, right? I guess just normal
They've
fit. Or...
barely given you notice.
That's
Okay.
normal. They're used to people floating around.
Oh, you're not floating. You're
thanks.
walking. You're just.
Yeah, you're just
Like a puppet walking
yeah,
around.
yeah, right. You're
Just
a
Drawn.
dirty mute.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we could do. We could just ridicule your corpse for being a dirty mute.
True. True.
okay, we better stay.
Yeah, I think we have to stay.
Okay.
Well, shit.
So there's
Can we?
What?
Is a tiny hut like? Is that something that would be odd to them?
No. And in fact, of all of the people of Athos who are most accepting of magic, the elves are. The elves don't mind magic nearly as much as everyone else does, because they are so still connected to magic. Now, all the other races, and especially in the city-states, it's kind of like, no. But elves being out in the wastes most of the time, and also, again, still being the one race still most connected to magic, they don't mind so much. They still don't like defilement, but they're willing to see how you cast the spell, whether you defile or not.
So for the purposes of time,
Mhm.
are we going to rest and then move on, or will there be some interactions with the elf tribe during the
Oh,
rest?
well, I mean, it just kind of depends.
This son of a bitch.
Yeah, let's rest, and then if Brad's got some sort of sleeping arrangement that we can do, then
Let's.
I
do
will
something
watch
like
over
that,
all of you, my children. I
don't think you sleep, bro.
I don't.
Sam,
think time passes a little differently for you.
I'm
Him
This
and
is
the
when you
corpse
watch
already
over-
watched me sleep one night
just
already.
gonna watch over all of you.
Do you watch her when
Mal
she goes?
just kind of lays down in the sand and just shimmies until he only his mouth appears.
It's like a fucking worm.
Speaking of
Gets down in
sandworms,
there.
Subterranean mole here, or mole. What's he doing? Mal the mole.
It's
Okay.
getting weird.
so you don't go to sleep straight away. I mean, like you spend some of the night because like still the camp's pretty active at night, and people are like walking around and chatting and doing sociable things. There's a few who participate in various like elf games that involve like sticks and the skulls of small desert creatures and stuff like that. And everything's good, and then like it does get around near the what should be called sleepy time. So Sam, I need you to give me a perception check.
If I need
Does
to
Mal notice any elves partying?
I mean, not really partying, but there are a few sitting around drinking.
22.
Okay, so remember how I described how the halfling had that kind of like that like pulsing, like almost waypoint thing, like coming off of him in the gray. You see something similar to that, but instead of this kind of like pulsing bright energy, it's kind of this like sickly green trail of smoke that's like following something off in the distance. But it's coming right towards the camp. It's still some distance away. Roll me a religion.
Going to okay. Well, that don't worry. I got a natural one. That won't do anything.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you're not really sure, but you still see that whatever it is getting closer, and it looks like it's moving. Like it can move.
I'm going to seep into Joe's mind using my spiritness,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to wake his ass up. And
Well, they're not
warn
quite
him.
asleep yet, but they're like arranging themselves to do that.
I'm sneaking into Joe's mind. I am waking his ass up, and I am going to forewarn him of danger. And I'll do the same for Mal. Wake those
Danger?
both of them up. Be
Do I feel the
ready.
need to poop?
I'm going to tell him the direction. No, you don't feel the need to poop yet, but I'm going to tell him the
Apocalypse.
direction.
All right.
Did you say a green cloud?
Did you even describe it to him?
I didn't describe it. No, I
You
just
just
said
said
be
danger
ready.
or pooping.
Something's coming this way
Okay,
from
I'm
this
gonna-
direction.
roll a perception though, Joe. Whenever he points out the direction.
Ooh, it's a lot. It's a 19 plus like
All right.
7.
So yeah,
6.
you notice a dust cloud that is normally reserved. Like you can kick up that much dust when you start running, but all the elves seem accounted for. Like, I mean, you're not really sure what the scouts do, but you're pretty sure that they kind of stay in close and they wouldn't be running from that far off. And in fact, you also notice a couple of scouts have noticed that dust cloud too and start pointing off in that direction.
Okay, I'm going to. Are we in the tent or hut?
Yes.
Sure.
That's where I
Am
would
I
have
out
been
looking
sleeping.
now? So I would be able to see. So I get out and I can see that. I'm going to. I'm going to cast minor illusion and make the loudest volume that I can.
Okay. Loudest volume what?
Am I legged out?
No, you're here.
Yeah.
You're good.
If you can hear me, I'm going to make a loud sound that says, "What is that?"
Okay. Are you going to do it in Elvish?
in Elvish.
Okay. All right. So,
I'd be waking up Brad and Heidi, by the way.
yeah, a lot of you get a lot of eyes on you again, but nobody really seems to pay too much attention. They just kind of give you like dirty looks, like, "Why are you making so much noise right before bedtime?" So everybody, roll me a perception now.
I was just saying that. Mal would be like real persistent in waking those two up. So
I got 25.
25. All right.
24.
24.
I got a 15.
Sam, since you already knew the direction, you see that trail of green, sickly smoke is pretty much right on the camp. It's not quite there yet because they kind of settled in like kind of like a bowl of like dunes, but it's like right over that dune to the south.
Hmm.
And yeah, Brad and Heidi, you can both see that cloud that's being kicked up, and you also kind of see kind of like this general din of movement amongst just the scouts for now. They're all just kind of like shuffling around and like moving.
Okay, Miles, sense any evil?
Kinda, yeah.
17, if that matters.
No, I mean you just feel it.
Yeah, I just sense it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a faint whiff of evil. Like,
Man. Oh yeah.
Just the sweet hum of evil.
mm-hmm.
It's a joyous tune.
It's the hum of good. Stanch of evil.
So
Yep.
there went Joe.
There
He'll
goes
probably
Joe.
be back there. So after yep, there he is. After a few more minutes, you start hearing that like the scouts actually get a bit more agitated in their speech. If you can speak Elf, you hear them say, or you hear them start like exchanging like, "Oh, something's coming, something's on the way. Get all the scouts together." And various other people are also kind of like waking up, going like, "Oh, what's going on?" And they start kind of like gathering in like the central area where like there's like this ring of tents that like kind of makes kind of like a central square, basically. And they all start going there. And then a few minutes after that, you hear someone in Elf shout, "Halt! Don't come any closer." And then there's like a lot of silence, but you still see like about like 6 or 7 scouts on like the ridge.
Mal has done the only thing that he ever does, and that is get ready. He's got his hammer. He's just ready. He's two-fisting it this time. So he gets roll that D10. It's gonna be good.
All right,
I'd
are
like
you
to
staying
fly
near the hut, or are you
straight up.
going to go up where the scouts are?
I imagine we were on like the edge of all the huts with our tent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean,
I
there's
was
still quite a dune to climb up to the top to.
No, I'm standing with like the group still. That was like the way that I saw it was that Joe would be outside the tent. I would have woke them up. They would be standing outside of the tent now. That we'd all be standing there, unless I was mistaken. And that's what I'm saying. Like I am straight up just pulling my hammer out at this time. Just I don't know which direction it's from, but I did hear the elf saying halt and all that stuff, right? Don't come any
Well, you
closer.
heard him say something, but since you don't speak Elf, you're not exactly sure what it was.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that makes sense.
But
okay,
he did
so
shout
I
it,
did hear it.
and it can't be good.
I'm gonna relay that to him.
Okay.
He writes it all out.
Awesome.
All right. Is anybody going to go where the scouts are?
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
run
I'm
to the
down.
scouts and see what's going on.
Okay.
I'm running too.
The best I can do is look.
Well, you also Heidi. Are you going to go up there?
Yeah, I'll join.
Okay, so yeah, Sam, you can go up there.
Okay. All right.
Because you wouldn't be going anywhere if you didn't convince Heidi. Joe, are you going, or are you going to stay with the hut?
He can't hear.
Oh, he can't hear. Okay.
Let's say he goes with us.
Okay.
We're starting to
All right.
internet issues now.
Yeah.
Although it is 8:00.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll wrap it up because there's probably going to be a little combat and all the internet issues. So you guys come to the crest of the hill where all the scouts are, and as soon as you get to the top, you see about maybe 50 yards away one lone figure with this kind of like cloak and a hood, and they're just kind of like standing off in the distance. Sam, when you reach that, this whatever it is the source of that green sickly smoke.
Do I still see a dark figure?
No, you see basically a nude woman, or what looks.
Can
like...
I yell? The code is 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, you can yell that, but nothing's. Gonna...
Does she look like a pirate hooker?
No, She doesn't, and in fact, she's
She doesn't
got
have a peg
something
leg?
at this distance. Or actually, when you see her on the gray, she looks like she's missing her left leg and her right arm.
Pirate.
Okay. Yeah. So, do I notice the shape of the figure?
You just see a person in a cloak right now. She's got everything covered. You can't really tell anything. Well, roll me a perception.
Okay. Nah, I didn't see shit.
Okay, yeah.
I got a 1.
She is 50 yards away. It is dark. You know.
Squints his eyes.
Straight up,
sees
a
nothing.
failed 1 roll. It's just a fail.
So anyway,
Did you have Sam roll for you?
Yeah. There's a few more like shouts back and forth, and then all of a sudden she does that kind of like throw back the cloak thing, and she pulls out these like discs. And
I'm gonna tell everybody to run.
Throws them.
I run.
And
Yeah.
it hits like each one of the scouts, and they just immediately drop dead. She nailed them with all of that, and it's only you guys. And she looks right at Brad's character, and pulls back her hood. And then
Can Brad run as fast as us?
And then pulls out a knife. And Joe, yeah, you notice the knife. It looks
Is an
like an
obsidian
obsidian blade. I mean, it has the same shape because they all are like kind of carved the same, but this one's made out of blood obsidian. And everyone kind of knows about blood obsidian. It's much like its name implies. It's obsidian, but it's like blood red. So it's also incredibly hard material. It's like almost
Fuck,
like
I was
steel.
worried it was going to be blue.
Anyway, way to go, smartass. And that's where we'll pick up.
I'm lagging out again. I think, Dylan.
Well,
Is there any way?
Yeah,
Are we in just?
We'll pick up next week, is what he said.
Fuck.
Indeed. I gotta get going
It's
here.
gonna say. It's bad. Yeah. This thing's gonna try to kill us.
All right. That. I thought you were still talking about your internet because that is about to kill us.
That's gonna kill us too.
Ka-dunk-dunk. So anyway, that's it for tonight. Yes, because of various other technical difficulties. Thankfully, not mine. Mine have improved, though it's still not perfect yet. But nonetheless,
Okay.
We'll get
that's
there.
about the end of
We'll
it.
get there.
Don't worry about it, Joe. Looks like he kind of dropped out anyway.
As
so
it goes.
we'll call it here. Join us next week. Follow the channel. Come back. See how
What
many of
will
these
Mal
guys get
do?
their ass kicked.
Will Mal hit with a hammer this?
Yeah.
See if anybody joins
Will Linus
Sam in the
die?
Gray.
Yeah. Join me in the gray next time.
Dude, I was going to ask, can you buff from the gray?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Don't worry, I'm
he
on
does
it.
that thing.
It's gonna be
Maybe
the first thing
pass
I
some of
do.
them my way, you know what I mean? But,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right. Well,
Excited.
next time.
I'm out.
Later.